The sky went dark 3 days ago. Not night dark, wrong dark. And you knew, deep in your gut, something had broken that couldn't be fixed. You're standing in your kitchen. Fridge hums, TV static. Phone, no signal. Outside, a dog won't stop barking. Then a sound rolls in from the east. Low, getting closer. The horizon turns the color of a bruise. You grab your keys. You grab your jacket. You don't know why. You just know standing still is no longer an option. Then the power dies. You are stage 1, completely unprepared. And the world just ended. The apocalypse doesn't arrive like a movie. No single explosion. No clean before and after. It unravels. Slowly. Then all at once, you stay inside the first 2 days. Most people do. You eat crackers, canned soup, peanut butter straight from the jar. On day 2, your neighbor Carol knocks, 62, lives alone, terrified. You let her in. Now there are 2 of you. A government radio signal surfaces on day 3. Looped, recorded. Stay indoors. Emergency services overwhelmed. More information to follow. More information never follows. By day 5, the food is gone. You have half a case of water and a neighbor who cries quietly when she thinks you can't hear. You have to go outside. The street looks like a photograph of itself. Abandoned cars. An open fire hydrant running water into the gutter like it doesn't matter anymore. A stranger loading boxes into a truck. He looks at you. Drives away. You break into the grocery store's back stockroom. Rice, canned beans, oil. You take everything you can carry. You are stage 2. You are surviving. You don't realize it yet, but you are. The group grows by accident. You find Marcus on a curb outside a pharmacy. 16, headphones around his neck, nothing playing. Parents left to find his grandmother. Never came back. You ask if he wants to come. He shrugs, follows you. That's all it takes. A week later, 7 people. Carol, Marcus, a couple named Danny and Rio who were headed to the airport when everything stopped. Price, a former pharmacist with a duffel bag of medications no one else understands. And Sam, who shows up one evening with a crossbow, a German shepherd named Bug, and asks if she can sleep on the floor. 7 people, 1 house, shrinking supplies. And somehow, you become the one making decisions. Not because you volunteered, because you were already moving. You assign jobs. Carol takes inventory. Marcus runs perimeter checks. Price manages medications. Danny and Rio cook. Sam and Bug patrol. This is stage 3. You have a group, a system, and just enough hope to make you dangerous. The first real threat arrives on day 19. 7 men, 2 vehicles. They don't knock. They just stand on your lawn. Their leader is calm, polite. He says your neighborhood is in their zone. He says things would go easier if you cooperated. He'll be back in 2 days. That night, Sam spreads a map on the kitchen table. She draws 2 circles, traces where the men came from, where they went. Draws a dot, says, their base is probably here. Then she says something that changes everything. The best defense is information. Stage 4. You are no longer just surviving. You are thinking ahead. You move at dawn. 6 blocks east to a community center. 2 floors, a generator, a catering kitchen, room for 20. Bug leads. Sam covers the rear. No one speaks. Inside, Marcus lets out a long, slow breath. He says, this is actually kind of okay. But you know what he doesn't? Not yet. Comfortable is just a more sophisticated form of vulnerable. Because when word spreads that there's a stable group with a generator and food, people come. Sometimes to join, sometimes to take. You start building. Barricades, watch rotations. Rooftop water collection. A parking lot garden from seeds Marcus found in a hardware store. Price builds a medical corner upstairs. More people arrive. Some good, some uncertain. On day 28, a man named Garrett shows up and immediately starts running things. He's convincing. But something is off. On day 31, you catch him going through Price's medication bag in the dark. You sit with him alone. You tell him what you saw. He denies it. You ask him to leave by morning. He nods. He's gone by dawn. Rio asks later, "Was that the right call?" You say, "I don't know yet." Stage 5. You are making hard choices, living with not knowing if they were right. The first winter breaks you a little. The generator isn't enough. You ration heat, 2 hours on, 4 off. Everyone sleeps in layers, in clusters, body against body, doing what electricity used to do. 2 people get sick. Price works around the clock, making triage decisions that hollow him out. One of the sick, Herbert, who arrived in week 3 with a small terrier, a can of soup, and a very good sense of humor, doesn't make it through December. You dig his grave in frozen parking lot soil. It takes most of a day. Everyone helps. Marcus cries and doesn't try to hide it. Carol says, "I think that's the right response." You stand at the grave long after everyone else has gone inside. You think about the kitchen, the dark kitchen, keys in hand, no plan. Then you go back inside. Stage 6. You have endured grief and kept going. Spring arrives like a rumor that slowly turns out to be true. The garden produces its first crop. Tomatoes, beans, herbs. Marcus spends whole afternoons out there. He says it's the first thing that's felt normal. You tell him, that's the point. You make contact with a settlement 2 miles south. 40 people, a doctor, a water filtration system. The first meeting is cautious. Both groups standing in a cold parking lot, watching each other. But the logic is obvious. They have medical. You have food. You start trading, then sharing intel, routes, dangers, resource locations. A map builds, not just of the city, but of what's trustworthy in it. A third settlement joins. A church to the northeast, led by a quiet, methodical woman named Elise. You sit in a room with Elise and the school leader and realize you are rebuilding something. Not what was. Something different. Smaller. More deliberate. Stage 7. You are not just surviving. You are constructing. The confrontation comes in summer. The group from the north has grown. They've absorbed smaller settlements by force and by fear. You've heard the stories. Tried not to believe them. Most turn out to be true. They push south in July. Take a settlement near the river. No one dies, but everything is taken. Join or leave with nothing. You hold a council with all 3 settlement leaders. 4 hours. Real arguments. Real fear. Elise says almost nothing for 2 hours. Then, the question isn't whether to respond. It's what kind of response we can actually sustain. That changes everything. You don't have an army. You have alert people, shared intelligence, and 3 locations that know each other's layouts. So you use what you have. When their scouts probe your perimeter, you're already somewhere else. When they try to cut your supply line, you've already moved it. You don't fight them. You frustrate them. You outlast them. And then you extend the network to 4 more settlements they haven't reached. By September, 9 groups in communication. The northern faction stalls. They can't take everyone at once. Holding what they've already taken is costing them more than expanding. Stage 8. You have turned survival into strategy. And strategy into something that looks, from a distance, like power. The second winter is different. More food. More fuel. More people who know what they're doing and why. The grief is still there. It's always there. But it lives in a different room now. You've learned to walk past it without stopping. Marcus turns 17 in January. There's no cake. Danny stirs a jar of honey into hot water and calls it a celebration drink. Marcus laughs, a real laugh, the first in weeks, and it spreads through the room like warmth. You watch it spread. You think, this is what you protect. Not the building, not the supplies. This. Price sits with you near the end of winter. He says he's been thinking about after. Not survival. After. He says 6 months ago he wouldn't have said that. He says he wants to train more people, to make sure what he knows doesn't die with him. You tell him, start in the spring. Stage 9. You are planting things that will take years to grow. Spring again. 43 people now call this place home. A second garden. A repair workshop. A small clinic Price runs with 2 people he trained through the winter. In April, a new government signal comes from the west. Not a loop, a real voice, real information. a coordination hub for surviving communities. They want maps. They want knowledge of what's still standing out there. You have both. You send Sam, not to surrender what you've built, to connect it, to make sure what your people learned day by day in the dark doesn't get lost in whatever version of normal is trying to reassemble itself. Sam takes Bug and goes west. 2 weeks later, a message comes back. The signal is real. The people are real. They want to know about other communities. Stage 10. You are no longer surviving. You are contributing to what comes next. You stand in the parking lot in late May. The garden is green. The generator runs 8 hours a day. Bug suns himself by the door. Marcus explains crop rotation to a 12-year-old who arrived last week. Price is upstairs, training 2 more people in wound care. You think about the kitchen, the dark kitchen, the bruise-colored sky, the sound rolling in from the east. You grabbed your keys and your jacket without knowing why. Just the instinct to move. Just the refusal to stand still. You were stage 1 then. You had nothing. You pick up the radio, press transmit, give your coordinates. You say, "We're still here." 3 seconds of static. Then a voice. We copy. How many? You count. Not just who you can see. All of them. You say, 43 here. Connected to hundreds more. The sky is still the wrong color. It might be for years, but you are standing in it. And you are not alone. And you are not done. The world didn't end. It just started over. And you were already moving when it did.